What's up, people? Welcome to today's episode of the Kink Vibes podcast. So, today we want to talk about failing and falling. We want to talk about what the difference really is between to fail and to fall. When you look at a dictionary, the dictionary defines falling as going from a really high level to a really low level with free control. Basically, you can't control yourself going from one level to the other. When you look at failing in the dictionary, failing in the dictionary is defined as being unsuccessful at doing something or neglecting to do something. Really, when you take a look at these two things, and as bad as we make it sound sometimes, uh, when you have a goal and you fail to reach the goal that you had set, or you fail to reach what your target is, that's what that's what the dictionary defines as failing. But you already had a goal. Whether or not you decided to work at it, nobody knows. But if you don't get to the goals that you had set, that's what they define as failing. To fall, you're already in motion. You're doing something. You went all this high, and you probably missed a step, and you came back down. You came back down. The movement of you coming down was such that you couldn't control it. And that's what they define as falling. Most of the times what happens when we fail is we set unrealistic goals. Really, to succeed you have to set realistic goals, but to fail you have to set unrealistic goals. So I can sit here right now and say that by the end of next month I want to have $1 million. Right, it's very good. I could work all I want, but the fact of the matter is, how realistic is me getting $1 million at the end of next month going to be? Probably not going to get it. Right, this is not being negative. It's about setting realistic goals. So if I put myself in the shoes where I'm saying that I'm gonna get $1 million by the end of next month and I don't get it, my feelings are gonna get hurt. I'm gonna feel like I failed and all of that. But really, the problem to begin with was me setting unrealistic goals. People waste too much time getting up when they fall. I mean, like we already said, to fall, it means you were doing something good. You were already up there. You came down because of something, and the reason for coming down could go from A through Z. But what happened and what really defines people is when you fall, the amount of time that it takes for you to get from down there to get back in the fight and get back to the game and to get back up there, it's what really determines what kind of person you are. But a lot of people waste time down there to where that it affects them. And really down there could be here, could be there. So far as you're not back at where you started, you were down there. People get complacent. People are content with being there to where they don't want to make any movements, and that's really the problem that we run into. The difference between people who succeed and people who don't succeed is that the successful ones don't waste time getting back there. If you are a business person and you took a big loss, are you gonna sit and wait for another year while you're still trying to think about what you want to do? Probably not. What you're probably gonna do is you're probably gonna venture into a different business that's gonna multiply your profit so you can make up for the losses, right? But you're not gonna sit for a year or two thinking about how you lost the other one. That's what I'm saying. Let's apply that to our daily lives. If you take a loss, right? From the time that you realize that you have lost something to the time that you get back in the game, if that period right there, that hibernation period is too long, you get content being there. And it gets really hard to get back in the game. What am I saying? Cut your hibernation time. When you realize that you've taken a loss, get back in it, reassess your strategies, and get back in the fight. One other way that you could do in trying to get back in the fight is use the self-talk procedure. So normally what I do is I tell myself, hey, this is not me. This is not what I wanted to do. This is not the goal that I had set. I talk to myself before I even talk to people. I talk to myself and see how much I can convince myself. If I can't convince myself, that's when I reach out to people. I'll end it with this scenario. So think about a little kid that wants to walk. A little kid, toddler, infant, whatever you want to call it, that wants to walk, wants to learn how to walk. Think about how many times they fall when they just start trying to walk. Do you ever think that those kids ever sit and say, "Hey, I fell 20 times today. I'm okay. I don't even want to learn how to walk. No kid ever does that. They fall, they cry, they get up, they walk, they fall again, and repeat that procedure all over again. It doesn't matter how many times they do it in a day. So if little kids who really don't know a whole lot can do that, how much more us? Apply that scenario and apply that procedure to our everyday life and start realizing how much time you put into trying to figure out if you really fell or not when you know that you had already fallen. Thank you very much for spending time with us today on the King's Vibe podcast. And make sure you like, share, subscribe to our YouTube channel. We can bring you more. We'll see you around. Take care.